All right, what I'd like to show you today, Kyle, is basically how to present your bird at a county fair. Now, depending on the judge, they might have you present different ways, either up or down, and they may ask you a variety of different things. But for the most part, if you know what I'm about to show you, chances are you'll do well with any judge. You just have to change it accordingly. First thing is the hand hold. Usually I put these two fingers right here underneath the bird to support it, and then these two fingers basically hang on to the legs. So that way I can have my hand holding the bird as well as these two fingers holding the bird down. Also, you need to have your hand over the wings like this so that it doesn't flap all over the place. So if you take a look at how I got it held, see how that? Two fingers right on its bottom and then the other two fingers outside the legs. So, let's go ahead and get started. First thing is, once you pull it out of the cage, you come to the table, or maybe the judge won't have you have a table in front of you. Have your hands over the wings, and then the way you're going to start is by naming the parts like this. What I'm showing you today is a Cornish cross, and this is the way I will evaluate the bird. I first of all start by grasping right underneath, basically the neck under the wattles. I say something like this. In today's evaluation, Judge, I'd like to show you a variety of ways in which I will evaluate this bird. First of all, take a look at the beak. I look for any breaks or cracks in the beak that it might have had either through fighting or maybe pecking things it shouldn't. Obviously, if it's cracked off, it's going to be a disqualification. But in today's bird, it's in really good condition, no breaks, no cracks. I also look at the nostrils to see if there's any obstructions in there, and there aren't. Sometimes when roosters fight, they'll go for the nostrils, the comb, and the wattles. So in the comb and the wattles, I look for any abrasions or cuts that may disqualify it as well. Also, you look in the eyes for any kind of discoloration or cloudiness, which would indicate some kind of bacterial infection, and this one obviously doesn't have that. I also look in the ear holes right on the side here. It's covered by a feather, and if I can just pull it back like that and look inside of it, notice that it's nice and clear and clean, because if it has mites, it'll have like scabs inside the ear or scales. Once I've checked, of course, the neck, making sure it's straight, I go down to the cape, and if you come here and take a look, you'll notice that the cape feathers are clean, and there's a lot of feathers actually growing in because these are young birds. But the main thing is it doesn't have any lice. And because these birds are exposed to the open like this, where wild birds can fly in and out, and maybe dropping little surprises like lice. And these birds are susceptible, especially in the summertime when it's hot. Then we're going to check the wings. So you want to pull out the wings. You can see in this particular bird that a lot of the wings are kind of frayed, probably because they're close conditions here in the barn. And the other thing is they're kind of dirty, so you need to make sure you get these things washed because you don't want them looking like this at fair time. And of course, you look at these are all the flight feathers down here. These longer ones are primary, these shorter ones are secondary, and then you have some transitional feathers like this one right here, and that's called an axis feather. You lift the wing up, looking for any broken bones and of course lice. You're looking also right here in the saddle region on these feathers to see if there's any parasites, and there isn't. And obviously on this one, because it's a younger bird, doesn't have much in terms of the tail feather, but I'm lifting it up, and then what I'm doing is checking the vent, which is right here. And you're looking primarily for, it should be nice and moist, and also looking for lice, because this is usually the first sign, and you'll see them is right around here, because it's warm and it's moist and it's kind of protected. Now since I got the bird up here, I'm looking underneath for any kind of bacterial infection. Usually if there's a bacterial infection, it's going to have probably black or brown on its claws and its pads. I'm also looking at the scales. Scales are clean and of the right color. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this bird around, handle it with my other hand, so now I can do the same thing but on the other side. And you can talk to the judges the same way. I'm checking the neck, eyes, beak, comb, and there we go. And then we're going to take a look at the feathers, making sure they're not broken, they're well presented, they're clean, no breaks in the bone. cape feathers, saddle feathers, and I've already checked the vent. Then the next thing you do, because this is a meat bird, a Cornish cross, I'm going to place it on my chest, right like this, and I'm going to pull down the legs. And then I'm going to use my fingers kind of like calipers, and we're looking at its capacity and its thickness, natural thickness, in the sternum as well as the legs. And this bird has a lot of capacity. It's very thick, especially as young as it is. I believe this bird is about 3.2 pounds at this particular time. And they have a lot of natural thickness and muscularity in the legs. And the last thing we're going to do with this bird is we're going to have it walk. Pencils work fine, but chopsticks are especially good. And because this bird has just eaten, because the crop is all filled up, it may be a little on the lazy side today. So we're going to try to get it to walk. And if you pull it up right next to the hawk and get it to walk, and this bird is not really cooperating much today, just because it's just eaten. And then we're going to turn it around, and we get it hopefully to walk as well. So that's one of the things you need to kind of look at, Kyle, is you want to make sure that your bird is in good health to walk. And obviously at the show, you're going to have to monitor its feed and water intake. So that's what I want you to practice over the next few weeks. Get down to presentation, and in particular walking.